My son was 3 years old when he took his first trip without me. My mom had just had a flood in her Kauai condo and needed to get back to deal with it. But she also saw an opportunity. I just had my second baby and she knew I could use the help. So she took my toddler with her to Kauai for a week. When he came home, he told literally everyone who would listen to him that he flew on an airplane by myself. Never mind that Grandma was sitting right next to him the entire time. And he would not stop talking about the shave ice. That trip, he remembered it for years, which is why when he turned 10 last year, I let him fly solo to visit her again. And you know what he told me when he got back? That was one of the best trips I've ever taken. They didn't do anything crazy. They made dinner together, went on walks, swam in her pool, tried new acai bowl places. But that one-on-one time with his grandma, without me and my husband there, that created something really special. Today, I wanted to talk about this trend that's picking up steam: skip generation travel, where grandparents take grandkids on trips without the parents. Because I'm seeing more families ask about this in my consultations, and I think there's something here worth paying attention to. Aloha, and welcome back to Hawaii Travel Made Easy. I'm Marcie Cheung, and today we're talking about something I've been noticing more and more: grandparents taking grandkids to Hawaii without the parents coming along. This has a name now: skip generation travel, or skip gen for short, and is becoming a real thing. Last month, there was a story that went viral about a grandma who took 8 grandchildren to Hawaii, and people were crying happy tears all over social media about it. Now, I want to be upfront with you. In my consultations, I'm mostly still seeing traditional multi-generational trips where everyone travels together. But we talk a lot about giving grandparents and grandkids special time together while the parents go do a date night. And I've personally seen how powerful these one-on-one experiences can be. So let me tell you about what happened with my oldest son. When he was 3, my mom's condo in Kauai flooded right before she was supposed to fly to Seattle to visit me after I just had my second baby. She needed to get back to deal with the flood, but she also realized this was a chance to help us out. She had an Alaska Airlines companion fare sitting there, so she took my 3-year-old with her. When she was there, she FaceTimed us one day when she was making lunch. She didn't expect my son to just grab the knife and start making his own peanut butter and jelly sandwich while she was talking to us. She was genuinely surprised at how much he could do on his own at that age. When he came home, he was so proud. He kept telling everyone he flew by himself, even though Grandma was sitting right next to him the whole flight. And the shave ice, oh my gosh, he talked about that shave ice for years. That experience stuck with him. So last year when he was 10, I felt like he was ready to actually fly solo. We do a lot of family travel, both domestic and international. So I was pretty confident he'd be fine. We did all the unaccompanied, minored paperwork, and our whole family walked him to the gate and waved goodbye. He spent a week with my mom on Kauai. And here's the thing, they didn't do a ton of activities. They weren't rushing around trying to see everything. They made dinner together, they went for walks, they swam in the pool at her condo complex, rented bikes, and rode down the bike path, listened to live music, tried new acai bowl places. He got to order virgin lava flows, which he thought was the coolest thing ever. And they just talked about everything and nothing. Little conversations that probably didn't seem important at the time, but he remembered later. When he came back home, he told me it was one of the best trips he'd ever taken. And now, he's ready to go back. That's the magic of these trips. It's not about cramming in every activity or checking off a bucket list. It's about having built-in bonding time without the usual family dynamics in the mix. So, I looked into what actual data says about this trend, and I found some interesting stuff. According to the 2025 Family Travel Survey, 82% of grandparents say that skip generation trips help them bond with their grandchildren. That number is even higher than for traditional multi-generational trips where everyone travels together. About 20% of grandparents in the U.S. have taken a skip gen trip as of 2023, and another 25% said they were planning one in the next 3 years. That's not a huge percentage yet, but it's growing, and multi-generational travel in general has jumped significantly. It went from 39% to 66% among travel advisors between recent surveys. So what's driving this? Well, there's a few things. After COVID, families started valuing time together differently. Parents are also burnt out, and the idea of grandparents taking the kids on an amazing trip while mom and dad get a break at home, that's appealing to everyone. Plus, today's grandparents are generally more active and financially able to do these kind of trips than previous generations were. Hawaii makes a ton of sense for grandparent-grandchild trips. You don't need passports, you're not dealing with foreign currency or language barriers, but you still get that, wow, we're somewhere completely different feeling. The activities here naturally work for different energy levels. Grandparents can do gentle beach walks and cultural experiences, while grandkids snorkel and boogie board. The beaches have lifeguards, the tourism infrastructure is solid, and medical facilities meet mainland standards, all things that matter when you're the adult in charge of someone else's kids. Plus, there's real educational value here. Hawaii has incredible cultural learning opportunities, and grandparents tend to love sharing those experiences. It creates natural teaching moments without feeling like school. And the weather's reliable. Unlike destinations where a rainy week can derail everything, Hawaii's pretty consistent. That matters when you're managing logistics with multiple ages. Based on what I've seen with families I've worked with and our own experience, there are some sweet spots for these trips. Ages 8 to 12 is probably the golden zone. Kids are independent enough to handle travel, but still young enough to find everything genuinely exciting. My son was right in this at 10, and it was perfect. He could navigate the airport solo with the unaccompanied minor supervision. He appreciated the cultural stuff with his grandma, but he also thought everything was magical. Teenagers can be great too, but it's different. A few years ago, my teenage niece and nephews, they were 14 and 16, flew from Seattle to meet up with us and their grandparents on Oahu while their parents stayed home. Here's what made it work. We got them their own hotel room right next to ours. This gave them the independence teenagers crave. They could walk around Waikiki on their own with their cell phones, but they still joined us for meals and planned activities. The balance was perfect. They felt trusted and mature, but we still had those shared experiences together. And honestly, the grandparents got to see them as young adults rather than little kids, which deepened their relationship in a completely different way. The hardest part? Waking them up sometimes. They had their own room, so getting them moving in the morning was a challenge. For trip length, the most successful skip-gen trips to Hawaii seem to be 5 to 7 days, long enough to really bond and experience the islands, but not so long that anyone gets overwhelmed. So how do you choose the right island? Different islands work better for different situations. Let me break this down in a practical way. If this is your first time doing a grandparent-grandchild trip to Hawaii, Oahu makes a lot of sense. Everything's close together, there's tons to do when it rains, and you're in the most developed area if you need anything. Pearl Harbor is incredible for history, the Polynesian Cultural Center offers amazing cultural immersion, and Waikiki Beach is super manageable for ocean access. I have a whole episode called Best Areas to Stay on Oahu that goes into detail about different neighborhoods if you want more specifics on that. Maui offers a nice balance of adventure and relaxation. The road to Hana is an epic adventure, but you've also got calm resort beaches. It's good for families who want both. Snorkeling at Molokini Crater, sunrise at Haleakala, exploring upcountry Maui, these all work well across generations. The Big Island is great if you've got science-loving kids and grandparents who want educational adventures. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, Mauna Kea stargazing, swimming with manta rays, these are experiences they'll remember forever. Kauai is the most natural and unspoiled, perfect for families who want to disconnect from technology and reconnect with nature. There's Napali Coast boat tours, Waimea Canyon, river kayaking. It's all about outdoors here. It's all about the outdoors there. So, where to stay? And I have an important warning for you. This is where I want to give you a heads up about something that's changed recently. If you're thinking about renting a condo or vacation rental, you need to know that Hawaii's regulations have gotten much stricter. As of September 2025, Oahu now requires 90-day minimum rentals outside of resort zones. Maui is phasing out vacation rentals in apartment districts. The Big Island has new registration requirements coming in July 2026. This is hitting the condo market particularly hard, which is frustrating because that's traditionally what grandparents prefer: more space, kitchen facilities, and that home away from home feeling. I'm not saying don't look at vacation rentals, but you need to be really careful that whatever you're booking is actually legal. Make sure it's in a resort-zoned area or has a proper permits. And honestly, for a lot of grandparent-grandchild trips, resorts might be easier anyway. The accommodation decision really comes down to this. Do you want built-in activities and don't want to worry about meals? Go with a resort. Want more space, flexibility with meals, and that home feeling? Look for vacation rentals, but do your homework on the legality. Everyone needs their own space on these trips. Grandparents need quiet time to recharge. Kids need space to be kids. Look for places with separate bedrooms, common areas for gathering, and trust me on this, multiple bathrooms. I actually have an episode called Where to Stay in Hawaii, Resort versus Condo versus Hotel versus Vacation Rental Guide that goes way deeper into this decision if you want more detail. So how do you plan activities that work for everyone? The key to successful skip-gen trips is having activities that engage both generations, plus backup plans for when energy levels differ. Cultural experiences tend to work really well across ages. Luau's are perfect. Grandparents love the cultural storytelling, kids love the food and fire dancers. Hawaiian cultural centers are educational for grandparents but interactive for kids. Lei-making classes and ukulele lessons create hands-on experiences that everyone can do together. For ocean stuff, you want to pick things that are adaptable. Snorkeling at calm bays like Hanauma Bay or Turtletown means everyone can participate at their comfort level. Whale watching during winter months is a perfect shared experience. Beach days work when you choose lifeguarded areas where grandparents can relax while kids play safely. For land adventures, consider everyone's fitness level honestly. Diamond Head and Makapu'u Lighthouse are doable for most people. Scenic drives like the Road to Hana or Chain of Craters Road give you adventure without physical exertion. Gardens and nature centers are beautiful, educational, and accessible. You also need rainy day backup plans. Aquariums like Maui Ocean Center or Waikiki Aquarium, museums like Bishop Museum, shopping at Ala Moana Center, these all work when the weather doesn't cooperate. So what are the biggest mistakes that I'm seeing? Here's where I want to talk about what goes wrong with these trips because I see some patterns. The biggest one, not involving the grandkids in planning. Make sure they understand what the trip will actually look like. If they're expecting nonstop theme parks and you're planning cultural museums, someone's going to be disappointed. Talk through the itinerary ahead of time. The other big mistake is overbooking activities. Grandparents may tire more easily than excited grandchildren. Build in rest time every day. Plan one major activity per day with afternoons free for pool time or naps. I talk about this more in my episode, The Biggest Mistakes Tourists Make in Hawaii. That whole concept of trying to do too much applies even more when you've got the different generations with different energy levels. Technology can be a real source of conflict. Kids wanting to be on their phones while grandparents want to connect. So set clear expectations up front about device-free times and free time periods. Meal preferences differ too. Kids want familiar foods, grandparents want to try local cuisine. Don't underestimate homesickness. Both kids and sometimes grandparents miss home. Schedule daily check-ins with parents via video call, but don't overbook every minute. Leave time for emotional processing. After talking to families who've done these trips and living it myself, certain things keep coming up. The undivided attention is huge. Without parents as buffers or siblings competing for attention, grandchildren get the full focus of their grandparents. This creates incredibly deep conversations. There's often a role reversal that happens. Grandkids become the tech helpers and sometimes the adventure leaders, while grandparents share wisdom and stories. This creates mutual respect. The memories from these trips tend to be some of the most vivid and lasting ones families have. Kids remember specific conversations, shared jokes, moments of wonder. Both generations often come home more confident. Grandparents feel empowered and adventurous. Grandchildren feel special and mature from handling travel responsibilities. Look, if you're considering a skip-generation trip to Hawaii, here's my honest advice. Start by assessing everyone's physical capabilities honestly. Talk through expectations with everyone, grandparents, parents, and children. Choose your island based on interests and comfort level and set a realistic budget. Book your accommodation 3 to 6 months in advance for best selection. Remember what I said about vacation rentals? Be really careful about legality. Purchase travel insurance. This is crucial when traveling with children. Book major activities like luau's and tours in advance, but leave some days flexible. A couple weeks before you go, confirm all your activities, get medical stuff sorted with prescriptions, pack, and have a family meeting to review expectations and emergency procedures. If you want help mapping this out, I do personalized Hawaii travel consultations. My 60-minute consultation is $149, and we'll talk through the best island for your group's ages and abilities, accommodations that work for everyone, and an itinerary that balances adventure with rest time. Then my travel agent partner Kim at Stuffed Suitcase handles all the bookings without charging her usual planning fee. And if you're looking for more resources, whether it's guidebooks, my favorite tour operators, car companies I trust, go to hawaiitravelwithkids.com/Hawaii-resources for a complete list. I also mentioned a few episodes today that might help you plan. The Biggest Mistakes Tourists Make in Hawaii talks about common planning errors. Navigating multigenerational trips to Hawaii covers the dynamics when everyone travels together. Where to Stay in Hawaii, resort versus condo versus hotel versus vacation rental guide, goes deep into accommodation decisions. Best Areas to Stay on Oahu breaks down neighborhoods. And Hawaii with Teens has activity ideas that work for older kids. Skip Generation Travel to Hawaii is creating some really special experiences for families. It's not just a vacation. It's grandparents and grandchildren building their own relationships away from normal family dynamics. The key is thoughtful planning that considers everyone's needs, clear communication about expectations, and flexibility when things don't go exactly as planned. Hawaii is perfect for this because it offers adventure and relaxation, cultural richness and natural beauty, accessibility, but still feels exotic. It's the ideal backdrop for these trips that families end up treasuring. Whether you're a grandparent thinking about taking your grandchildren on their first big adventure, or a parent wondering if you should encourage this, I hope this gives you the confidence and practical information to make it happen. These aren't just vacations, they're experiences that families talk about for years. Thanks for listening to Hawaii Travel Made Easy. I'm Marcie Cheung. Next time, we'll be talking about my recent Oahu trip. Until then, mahalo for listening.